20 times the champions of it. And Bono's in and scores for Manchester United. On an Old Trafford hat-trick here, Mo Salah. Oh, yeah!
Hello everyone, welcome to Never United, the most subdued Man United and Liverpool podcast around. Both of our teams got beat at the weekend just off the back of United getting beat at home to Everton.
It's made me feel better.
It's the only
Not
thing
much.
you can hope for after your team loses, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Should we get straight into the United game?
Yeah, do you want to do this first?
What is this?
This, we've thought of something new. So we've got a wheel. And when both of our teams lose, we're going to spin this wheel. The forfeit for whoever's name it lands on is we've got to dub over the losing manager's interview, post-game interview, imitating their voice and post it to one of our socials with a script that the other person comes up with.
Which could be funny, actually, and it could brighten our moods. There's a few names on this because this is our chomp wheel. We'll spin it until it lands on an A or a B.
Be here for 45 minutes. I'm going to spin
do the
it.
honours.
I've done it softly because it never stops.
Yeah, I'm really nervous about this, actually.
I don't know if they're going to be able to see it, but we can. It's a wonky wheel.
Oh, no. Oh, no. No way.
Perfect.
No way.
It's perfect.
Is it me?
Yeah. Clearly on there. Clearly on there. By the way, if you can't quite see those letters, it was on me and then gravity took its course and
Just the
landed
way
on
my
Alex.
week's been going. I can't do a Ruben Amorim impression. My best impression is to not make the right substitutions during a game.
Nice. I like it.
Let's get into United.
Move that.
Yeah. Get away, you stupid chump wheel.
Yeah, I think getting into United is a great shout. I think that would be really good for all of us.
Yeah. Problems. The biggest problem there's been all season, not just the Everton game, it's happened when we've played well, it's happened when we've won games. That left-hand side for Man United doesn't have enough quality with Dorgu on the pitch. When Dalot comes on the pitch, it's still not enough quality. We seem to overload over onto that left-hand side. You had patterns during the Everton game where you see Shaw, Dalot, Mount. You've got three players all in that one like sort of 10-yard radius, all of which aren't doing anything on the ball. It's slow, it's unimaginative, there's no quality there. I think Mount's got quality, but the problem we've got is Dorgu spends probably the most amount of time on the ball for Man United, and he's the player with the least amount of quality.
I'm only laughing because we could be describing either match, Liverpool Forest or United Everton.
Yeah.
You could not name names and people wouldn't know who we were talking about. Staying with United, Gary Neville was in fits over Luke Shaw. Was in genuine fits. And it wasn't really until... Because I don't look for it in the same way that you guys do, naturally. You watch with intent the players and the individuals. I watch the game if it's a neutral. And until he said it, I didn't necessarily notice it. But my God, is it an eyesore once you do pick up on it. Dorgu's not good enough. And if you're wanting to play wing backs, you have to have quality to be able to progress in the attacking third.
Which is why it works with Ahmad at wing back.
Right.
It's why our right hand side feels we're kind of top heavy, but right hand side heavy. Gary Neville said it in commentary about Luke Shaw. You're not kidding anyone, because he was moving forward, but he was moving forward slowly. He was putting himself in the positions, but it was slow and it wasn't with any intent. And the problem that I've got with United is something I saw in the Brentford game as well. We tend to have a lot of possession around sort of 20 yards outside of the opponent's box with nothing going forward, no runs, nothing that looks like danger. The centre-backs have got a really easy time defending against Man United players. There's not enough quality in the squad, and that needs to change. And if we want to talk about ourselves as title contenders, European challengers, we cannot go for the rest of the season without adding a superstar into that side.
Which I think is difficult to do. I think you will have more financial constraints than meets the eye. Because if you're planning this new stadium, plus the money you've already spent, plus the fact that there's been a lot of talk about the behind-the-scenes things with money, letting people go, getting Fergie off the books, all these things. I don't know if we said it on the podcast. It felt to me when you signed your Sheshkos, your Mbumos, spending 200 odd million or whatever, it felt like shit or bust. It felt like you're going to throw the kitchen sink at it this season. You're going to back the manager. And if it doesn't work, then that's good enough reason to almost get rid of him. The second thing, the B to my A, is it's going to be really difficult to attract a superstar. And I know you are Manchester United. I know that. And I know you've got the big stadium and you've got the project and there is an upwards trajectory. Maybe not skyrocketing, but there is an upwards trajectory. It's that, will a player that's in a position at one of these clubs where they are a superstar, will they buy into coming to United to be the one to turn it around? I don't know the answer to that.
I think so.
You think so?
The thing is, what I won't waver from is I think the transfer window was good in the summer. I think the squad...
You were missing a key part of your creativity in Cunha.
Cunha missing. This is why I've got the issue. Is if Cunha doesn't play, we've got nothing.
Yeah, which you can't have.
And we can't afford that. If you want to allow that to happen, say, for example, you don't strengthen in that position, then there needs to be someone that comes through. Shea Lacey sat on the bench.
I couldn't believe
it. You include a player like that who's got a lot of promise, particularly the academy journalists really, really rate him, apart from one. I don't know if anyone saw the article last week ripping into Shea Lacey, kid's 18. But when you put someone in the squad like that, United fans expect to see him.
Why have him on the bench? You know, when I was having my moan about why have Isak on the bench when we're chasing a game and all that sort of stuff, you were 1-0. It was a 1-0 deficit that you so clearly... Don't get me wrong, it was a tough night for me because I don't want Everton to win. I don't want Man United to win. From my upbringing, I don't want Man United to win more, if that's not a double negative. But I would prefer to watch United lose than to watch Everton lose. But even, in my head, I was screaming, do something.
I said to you, I think with about 20 minutes to go, does Amorim think by not changing this that something's going to change on the pitch? Because there are no signs that anything's going to change on the pitch. There was nothing. The only thing I can say is Jordan Pickford pulled out the save of the season. We talked about Jordan Pickford on the last show briefly and terribly, but how good is Jordan Pickford? I want to hate him. I'll jibe at him for the mistakes that he's made against Liverpool. But I actually think he's quite likeable. And to then go and back it up with saves like that, they're not. You said to me in game, there's not another keeper in the Premier League that saves that. Maybe David Raya. And the reason is the pure athleticism. Yeah. Because I will bang on about Alisson's positioning, and you'll give me shit back for it. Jordan Pickford wasn't in the right position. He'd planted. His 2 feet were on the floor, and he's jumped. Full stretch and tipped it round. For the entire time that the ball was in the air, that was in for me. I can't believe it. And he came out of nowhere and saved it. Go away from that game thinking, how have I not scored? 100%. And I know it's so cliche and so obvious and it's all ifs, buts and maybes, but that changes the game completely. And I don't like admitting it. And I thought your fans were poor, even though I also said to you that Monday night 8 o'clock games are weird and they're hard. You haven't got that raucous atmosphere because everyone's got work the next day, and it's late and they've had work that day. That inspiration has to come from the pitch. Absolutely. How can the fans get up when there is nothing being created? Absolutely. Playing the same passes over to our left back who can't do anything. If that goal goes in, though, they will turn up. That is one thing that you can give United, is that it would get loud in there, and so that changes the game. Everton have got 10 men, which we haven't even spoken about, by the way. Wow. First of all, if anyone from Sky, TNT, Amazon, Paramount, any of you are watching, which you won't be, but it may get there, show
the fucking game. Everyone missed that. You have to play guesswork. You've got Gary Neville going, ooh. There was nothing going on.
It makes my blood boil up to here. Watching a game and directors thinking that their job is to create cinematic art. No, it's to show the football match to the fans that want to see it.
Or don't do a half-time. Because they go through all the important clips at half-time. So don't have that then. Because we're having to watch certain things 6, 7, 8 times. And they're not even important.
I don't mind watching replays in the game.
If there's nothing else going on.
Yeah, but understanding the game and understanding the point of view from football fans is... I mean, the people, obviously, who were involved don't understand the game. That's the only thing I can
Their job
imagine.
is creative direction.
Yeah. And I sense arrogance. It's, look at what I'm creating. Fuck off. Show us the game.
That moment is... I think we've been deprived of a potential cult classic. You know, the clip, the Bowyer, Kieran Dyer-esque fallout. We don't see that. I think they were talking about the last time someone got sent off for that.
Carlos Fuller for Stoke.
Think about how long ago that is. We've been robbed of that moment live. Same with the VAR stuff where they tell us before it's happened. That is a moment of madness. I said to you straight away, he's just lost them the game, and I'd be surprised if there was anyone that didn't think that. Yeah. That then thought, "Oh, it's all right. Everton will be absolutely fine. They'll go on and win this game."
David Moyes would have thought it on the touchline.
Well, he did. He was straight away giving instructions, wasn't he? A moment of madness.
It's even worse than that, though. I look at it like they've put it on a plate for us, and all we have to do is knit together a couple of passes to try and break them down. Amrim has to be under pressure from that because he's not managed to change the direction of a game. The direction of the game at the start, first 10 minutes, 15 minutes, was Everton attacking. United were under pressure, weren't playing well, didn't look like we were even going to register a shot. They lose a man and then they go and score.
And then had a 2-on-2 as well.
A couple of 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s, and you're thinking, who's got 10 men?
And you've got 3 at the back.
Yeah.
With wing backs,
madness.
It can't be happening. It was slow today. I was, for all intensive purposes. There's a part of me I think if Vince was here, there'd be fireworks tonight because he gets more frustrated.
He'd be more
emotional, and with you two, I think you two would be going at it. When it's me and you, I almost find it hard to really go at you. I find it even harder when we haven't done anything special on that weekend. Yeah. But I do think, and I will bring it up, that for Liverpool and United to be on the same amount of points, a disgrace for us to be in 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
A disgrace.
But we're only 3 points off Europe. Both of us.
Right. And
it's very easy for me to say that when I wasn't saying that about you, though.
Right, yeah, but that is the reality. And there's nothing more than I want to just go at you, cut throat, and say all the shit you give me that we're in crisis, where's it going to come from? We haven't shown any signs. I said on this podcast that I am waiting for something to go wrong with Amorim because he's shown me nothing that you will build on these decent results, 5 unbeaten and things. This is the best. That was the best moment he had as a Man United manager, going unbeaten in 5 games.
That was the moment that he could have turned Man United into title challengers.
Right,
tonight.
And they're just going to throw it away against a 10-man Everton.
That's a bold job, that.
Everton were brilliant. I think they were...
Dewsbury Hall had the game of his life. Jack Grealish was unplayable.
And Jai was quiet. Tieno, Barry and Beto.
Most offensive duels won in the Premier League so far this season. I think he was on 14 and he got another 3 or 4 more after it.
But can you imagine if they had a 20 goal a season striker?
Yeah, I think.
But you were poor.
United lost the game because we were poor. Not Everton were really good. I thought Everton were really good, but a lot of teams go and beat Everton tonight. And we just aren't one of those teams.
It's so funny because when you were talking about the left-hand side, it feels like that. It felt like that on both sides for us against Forest. I don't want to get too into it until we move on to it. But I also think that Liverpool lost because we were so bad. And which is mad to say because Forest beat us 3-0 and they were good. But it's so demoralising to lose a game of football because you were so bad, rather than the other team, for you to be able to hold your hands up and go, they have completely outplayed us today.
How does it feel for you when Liverpool just lose? Because like coming off the United defeat, I'm just like everything, all my hope and all this it's probably a little bit delusional, but all this feeling of hope goes away in an instant. That final whistle goes, and my week is I'm not exaggerating, my week's ruined. For the rest of the week, I'm not that kind of spring in my step. And I'm just thinking, how many times am I going to have to feel like this? Because the moment you think, oh, hello, we might be onto something, it's ripped up. I said to you halfway through the game, I said, I can't have anything nice. I can't have anything nice.
The thing with United is, for the past 4 or 5 years for definite, but arguably over a 10-year period now, it seems to be 2 or 3 steps forward, 10 steps back. That's how it feels from the outside looking in. Or maybe 1 step forward and 3 steps back. It never seems to be going at a rate where you're sort of, you go
We're
3
not
games
net positive,
right?
We're always net negative.
Yes, there's always something that's going to bring you right back down to earth. For me, where I suppose it's different is that, and where you put the picture up of the dog in the fire at this point, because Alex keeps saying that I'm the dog in the fire that keeps saying I'm fine, where the whole office is burning around him, right? But that is how I feel.
You were saying that 3-0 down and it will be fine.
But that's how I feel, because we've been so fortunate to have watched this Liverpool side over the past 5 or 6 years, whether it's Klopp or Slot. And I said to you yesterday that we lost 5 games during COVID on the bounce. And at no point did I ever feel that it was like disaster crisis, because it felt like we were gonna get out of it.
Do you feel like that now after Forest?
Yeah, I do.
What do you think of Jamie Carragher's comments about Mo Salah on Monday Night Football? For anyone who didn't catch it, Carragher said we only seem to hear from Mo Salah when he's talking after being man of the match,
or on his own contract situation,
or he's talking about his contract. We never see him after a loss. That's hardcore.
It's
to say
bold.
something like that.
It's bold, and he'll get a lot of kickback from a large number of Liverpool supporters, because he is seen as the king to Liverpool fans, and he is the king. And I've done it 5,000 times just in case anyone new's listening, and I have to preface it with, I will never say a bad word about Mo Salah's legacy long term. The short term of it is that Carragher's right, and
I agree with him.
We need leaders in that team, and there's a senior player group: the Robbos, the Virgils, the Salahs. Milner was there, Henderson was in it, that dish out all the fines, and that people look to as the leadership group if they've got any issues and stuff. Go to them first before the manager. Salah's part of that, and so for me, he needs to face the media, fans, criticism. I've had an issue with Salah after losing for a while, because a couple of games last season and the season before, when I've gone on away games and we've lost, he's the first one down the tunnel. Doesn't come over and clap the away fans. And that you can't do that. These people, I'm sort of fairly soft core with away following. It's been more of a recent thing. There's been blokes that pay tens of thousands of pounds a year to follow this team domestically and in Europe. The least you can do is walk over to the fans and clap them. It might have been an all-day thing, 300 quid, travel, hotel, ticket. Just clap them off. And it feels very much like that. And this is where I think about the mentality of how is he going to get out of this? I'll probably get a lot of heat in saying, I nearly did a TikTok about it earlier, that I almost can't wait for AFCON. And it's not necessarily because I'm desperate for Salah not to play. Of course it's not. But it's that it takes the option away. You know?
If he gets dropped now, he's dropped. If he goes to AFCON, he's out of the side and the option isn't there.
It gives someone else the chance to shine. It gives us a necessity to go and potentially get a replacement for whatever reason. In Slot's mind, I don't rate him as high as everyone else does, but Federico Chiesa seemingly just cannot get a game or a start. And if it is, it's against lesser opposition. He's clearly not the right replacement for Salah.
Do you think there's an issue with Isak?
I don't personally.
How do you think he played at the weekend?
He didn't have a chance to. And this is something that really, really got under my skin, is that you see people calling some wanker that used to write for The Sun saying that Isak was so ineffective that we missed Nunes. Right?
Well, Nunes is chaos.
Okay. Anyone who watched that game for 90 minutes, Cody Gakpo and Mo Salah, it felt like they had fallen out with Isak on the playground and both said to each other, hey, let's not pass to him today. He was making runs in behind constantly, asking for the ball. They are both head down, trying to whip a ball in, not having a look at where anyone is, and I'd say 70 to 80% of them got cut out at the first man. And it's almost like trying to throw enough shit at a wall. And so I understand that if you're looking purely on stats and figures and numbers, that you see Isak hasn't scored in this, he only had a certain amount of touches in the box, he didn't win this, he didn't do that. You can't do anything if you're not getting the ball. And you do not want Alexander Isak having to drop to the halfway line, or even, like, he's your number 9. You feed him, he'll score.
I think he is good at coming, like for Newcastle, a lot of times he picked the ball up just past the halfway line, and he was good at that. But I think he had good players around him that were looking to feed him. You look at the amount of assists that Jacob Murphy got for Isak directly for Isak. I don't think you've got that at Liverpool. Last season, when Salah was on his assist hunt, when he was really going for that 2020, it's like he was trying to find players when he should have shot.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the case this season, particularly when you are wanting to remain the star man and you've just been kind of overtaken by a £150 million signing. I think Liverpool's biggest issue is finding a way to become so dangerous with that front three that works, that's fluid. I think that's a bit bigger issue than defensively. I think defensively it's an issue.
It's a worry.
Yeah, of course. But I know with the quality of Van Dijk, with the quality of your goalkeepers, and when Kanate can sort his head out, I'd be playing Robertson, personally. I'd be playing...
Every fan that I know says the same.
I have got no problem with Szoboszlai at right back if I was a Liverpool fan personally. I know you're taking your best midfielder away from midfield, but needs must when you haven't got Conor Bradley.
Agree, and he's had a couple of belting games there, and he can run for months.
That's not a problem. You've got Gravenberch, and then you've got a dilemma in midfield for me, because I don't think McAllister's anywhere near the level that you need him to be, and I don't think Wirtz is anywhere near the level that I think most people thought he was going to be, myself included. So there's got to be a tough conversation of who you drop, and I don't think Slot... I thought he was tough. I don't get the feeling that Slot is tough enough to drop these players.
It's the first time, even you go back and watch last week's episode, I am still the dog in the fire with everything. It'll click, it'll do this, or it'll do that. I am inclined to agree with you ever so slightly on this now. I wonder if Slot has too much respect and not loyalty, because he hasn't been there long enough to see these players as his kids and whatever. I wonder if he worries that if he drops Salah or he drops Gakpo or whoever because he's got a couple of goals and assists, and is he worried about the board? Is he worried about the fans getting on his back?
Is he worried about losing the dressing room?
Right.
You're talking about big characters.
You take Salah out, but at the same time, I just can't get away from the fact that surely these players, after seeing Mo Salah score 20 goals in 8 consecutive seasons and just being bang off it, not passing to these players, Florian Wirtz must be absolutely furious every time he sees Salah start. There's been 4 or 5 chances this season.
One was outrageous.
Where Salah, and this is the biggest problem, is that because we're not firing as a team, the individuals are desperate to get that goal for their own confidence. and all sportsmanship and team playing has almost gone out the window. And
they're playing for themselves. They're playing for their reputations.
Those wingers are, and you can't have that. Ekitike, Isak, Wirtz, and Salah, if he's on it, could be an absolutely unbeatable, unplayable front four.
Slot made the biggest mistake for me, and he made the same mistake at the weekend. You do not drop Ekitike. You bring in a player like that who nobody expects to be as good as he is, and he starts and he's firing. You do not take that player out.
I would rather take him off than have to bring him on.
Gakpo's used to playing in and out with Diaz and everything in the past, so he might not like it,
Dutch,
but he'll be comfortable.
You know, like Wenger had his French and Arteta has his Spanish. And
why bring a player in? 80 million quid. How much was Ekitike?
68 plus add-ons or something, which is a lot of money. I'm not making excuses.
Starting.
I'm a massive fan of him.
He's been your best, most attacking player this
he
season.
looks arsed
Playing.
He looks arsed.
Yeah,
and if you're not playing well, that is all you want. How many times do we say this? That if you're not playing well, fine. Sometimes you can have a bad run. Every single team does it. City had an entire season last season where they were all off it. They won 4 Premier Leagues in a row. You're allowed it. Put the fucking effort in. Gravenberch was arguably the best midfielder or the best holding midfielder in the league, possibly even in Europe last season.
Until about 7 games ago, he started the season on fire as well.
Right, he was shitting out of 50-50s at 1-0, 2-0 down. Gakpo, you can't do. You get away with it slightly away. You cannot do that at Anfield.
I think this might be a bit overgeneralising of an issue in sport, but I think in football, particularly in Premier League football, where the level and the intensity is so high, I think because those margins are so tight, if you are 1% off it, you'll go from a title winning side to a 15th place side, and I think there is 1% missing from Liverpool at least. And in the physical battles, that's where it shows. United had it last season. When it became a Premier League tie, a physical and intense battle, United couldn't get up to speed. We couldn't play. When it was in Europe, we could play because the physicality wasn't there. Because of the physicality of the Premier League, you drop 1% in terms of your attitude, your mentality, your physicality, you will lose a game to anyone in that Premier League.
Because the quality, I don't care what anyone says about a Burnley or a Leeds or even a Wolves. If you're not on it, they'll hurt you because they are Premier League footballers. I still won't have it about crisis. People really want to push that at the moment, and I completely understand it. 6 out of the last 7 Premier League games. God knows how many other bad results that we've had. Villa and Leverkusen, the only 2 wins, and you're very passionate about the Villa rolling over for us. I see it. Leverkusen, they ship goals all the time. I see it.
Frankfurt.
That's what I meant, not Leverkusen. Did I say Leverkusen twice? I don't know. So there's moments in there that you could argue are good, but realistically it is unacceptable for us to be on this run. I do see us beating PSV on Wednesday, luring everyone back in, but I think it's a dangerous luring us back in.
Yeah, you win that and Liverpool fans think it's okay, and then you go into your next game against West Ham, and West Ham all of a sudden seem to have something about them and beat you.
Callum Wilson hat-trick.
With both teams level, United on 18, Liverpool on 18 points, we're both mid-table. What realistically do you envisage for both teams? United first.
I just think it's surprising how many teams are around us as well with the same or more points and look better. Even Everton, Bournemouth's, they're not having great seasons.
For me, I think United will be top 8.
I was going. The figure I had in my head was top 8.
I think it depends how we deal with AFCON, with Mbermo, Ahmad. Depends what we do in January. But I know I say this. There is no excuse for Manchester United not to be challenging for a title. That can't happen. I don't care what we did last season. I don't care how good our squad is or how bad our squad is, because the money's been spent. For Ruben Amorim not to challenge for a title, that is sackable.
You should be big enough to at least be in a conversation with it.
We cannot let the likes of Chelsea go and spend whatever they've spent. Fair enough. They spent a lot of money, but they've bought youngsters. That team is not a total challenging side.
And they rotate every 25 seconds.
How can we be in a position where Chelsea look more of a team, more together, more ready to challenge for a title?
When half of their team are training on their own and have been ostracised from...
No excuse. No excuse for me. I'm not having any manager come into Man United and they're not taking this challenge on for a title, and I'm not having us. If we finish outside of the top 4, he's gone. We can't have it. I cannot be a Man United fan, because look how quick our standards slip. It's very easy to say, yeah, but how can we say we're not? Look, we finished 15th last season. Yeah, and it was a disgrace, and heads should have rolled for that. They didn't. That can't happen again. If we let that happen again, our standards as a club drop. Our expectations from fans drop, and we then just go on this
fall into a cycle.
We just allow the club to spend £100 million on 2 players and think, yeah, but they were only 50 million quid. You cannot do that. We're spending enough. Mate, how much more money are we spending in the clubs around us? It's a disgrace if we don't finish above them. I'm not having it.
It should be in terms of just spend and investment into the infrastructure of the club alone. We really shouldn't be seeing any other top 4 than City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United.
Maybe Spurs.
Yeah. Arsenal, to be fair,
they spent big.
They have spent big, but almost not in the same sort of way. It's almost been calculated over a couple of seasons and things.
Could you say to me, right, if I said to you the quality of the squads as you go down, you might say Arsenal have got the strongest squad, that's why they're up there. I really think that this Premier League is showing quality of managers. And I think for the first time in a long time, there is a massive importance on quality of a manager. Can you get it right tactically? I don't care about your dressing room antics and how you come across in the media, because Ruben Amorim's got all that. It's quality of managers and ideas. At the top is Mikel Arteta, who I think is up there with one of the best managers in the league, if not top 2. He's up there with Pep for me. I think they're in a league of their own. You got Pep, you got Arteta. Maresca's proven that he's a fantastic manager. I don't care what people say about Leicester. The way they played, the system that he employed was really, really good to watch.
And sometimes certain managers need quality players to show their management.
And I think you give Maresca enough time, I think he could challenge for a title if he doesn't already this season. So we're looking at the league table, and I think we're starting to look at the league table as who's got the best manager. Because the squads, the quality of the players in the Premier League, they are getting so close. We look at players go from Brentford to Man United, from Bournemouth to Liverpool. So these players are interchangeable, a lot of them. Kirkes has left Bournemouth, gone to Liverpool. They've brought in True Fair, and they haven't really noticed. So the quality of players, there's a lot of them in a lot of the clubs. I think we're seeing quality of managers, problem solvers. How can you get through a game? Ruben Amorim has showed that he can't get through these games. Arne Slot has shown that he can adapt to whatever the problem is currently. Arteta's been there for a long time. He's shown that he can stabilise the club, get them into a title challenging position, stick at it, and then this season, when they've got their chance, when teams aren't performing, they're going to run away with it. I think we're looking at a change in the Premier League, that it's not about players, it's not about how much you spend.
Yeah,
it's about your manager.
It's hard to push back on. I maybe it's blind hatred, maybe it's the wishing that they don't do it and whatever. And he will completely prove me wrong when they win this league. So I can't go too hard on it anymore. I don't necessarily agree with Arteta being one of the better managers.
Oh, who's better than him?
Right. Only because of what's happened in the past, finishing your seconds, not having enough to go over.
Do you know how hard it is to finish second?
Of course I do. Of course I do. But they've been in positions where they should have won it. And
I don't think so. I don't think they've ever been in a position where they should have won it.
Regardless of that, it's hypocritical of me. Exclusive. Brandon's putting his hands up. When you do something for long enough, you get better. And you learn. And so it's no surprise that he's become a good manager, a great manager, one of the best. He's a fantastic manager. He learned under Pep, arguably the best of this generation. He's implemented his own style, whether that's set pieces or not. I want to beat them over the head with your one-trick ponies, and it's not sustainable. But it clearly has been.
Over the last 3 seasons, the best manager in the Premier League has been Mikel Arteta.
Yeah, overall, yeah. In moments and flashes, and so easy to name a certain manager as the best manager when they win the league or whatever. Consistency, the way he's got them, yeah, fine.
I said, but people think like if you watch this video, you didn't know who I was. You think I'm an Arsenal fan. I'm someone who can understand
and appreciate.
I'll appreciate anything if it's good. I love football. I love football. I don't need to support Arsenal to understand that Mikel Arteta is a top manager, and I think he's top 2 in the Premier League.
Well, yeah, you can't argue against it. I want to. And I've been a massive critic of him, and I don't like his gimmicks. I don't like the getting the speakers out and playing You'll Never Walk Alone. I don't like the light bulb thing. I can't stand the getting pickpockets to nick the players' phones because they've got to constantly be alert.
Every Premier League winning manager has had something like that.
Right, who am I to say that now when they're 11 points clear of us after 12 games?
Klopp had his antics.
And we've beat them.
Pep's got his antics. Sir Alex.
It's
Wenger.
Naus.
You look at these managers. I even go back to like Antonio Conte. Like these managers are people that you see on the sidelines and you have that like aversion to them. You don't like them. There's something about them that really grips your shit. I see Mikel Arteta as one of them, and I think for anyone to suggest that he's not a good manager and his team isn't set up in terms of tactics, I listened to Sander Berge talk about playing Arsenal last season, and he said it's like playing against someone on FIFA who's just better than you. Every player is being controlled by a player. So they're in the right positions. You cannot find space. They press the life out of you without even having to do much running. You look at the way they set up. No wonder they don't concede many goals. Yes, they've got great defenders. Yes, they've got good players in every position and a great goalkeeper. But it's the way they're set up. That's been in place for the last 2-3 years. For them to win a title, it's inevitable.
Yeah. The only way that they don't is that everyone else around them is just as good in moments.
Which
over
I think
a season.
City were fantastic and Liverpool just rode a massive wave. It was a vibe season, and I think that's showing now. You've got great players, Salah, Van Dijk, and I thought there were some great players' performances last season, but I don't think they're sustainable. Slot's finding that out this season. I didn't think Liverpool would challenge for the title this season. I said to you at the start, I didn't fancy it. I thought last season, not a fluke, but it was one that I just think it can happen to any team.
I feel like it's happening with. Don't get me wrong.
You think it's happened to Arsenal?
They fully deserve to be where they are in the table.
You can't finish second twice and then go into this season, be top, clear by 6 points, and say it's a fluke.
No,
or they're riding a wave.
No, absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that City have dropped more points than they would have expected to this season. Liverpool, I understand. I completely get your point. I really do. When you spend 400 odd million after winning the league, no one can have a go at me for thinking, we might be onto something here, right? So Liverpool are bang off it. United have spent X amount of money. You've had a whole season, almost a whole season with this manager. The vibes are back. He's at the end of the last season in the last home game with the microphone giving it. The fans are all up for it. All these other teams are not on the same level as Arsenal. how do they cope with it if they are? Is the only thing I would say. And we'll never know. We'll never know. I hope to God that at some point this season they have a blip. And that's not just me saying, oh, so it can let us back in, because the title's over for Liverpool. I'll make that very, very, very clear. I'll finally concede that
you've left the burning house.
Well, because we're not going to put on a run. It's going to be a rough ride for the next couple of weeks. It'll be a win here, a loss there, a draw when we shouldn't do. It's not. We're not going to go on a 15, 20 game win streak now. But I would love to see how they deal, so that it can it's almost like closure for me. If they have a blip and they come out of it, and the pressure's on them and they still rise above it and go and win the league, fair play to them. If everyone else around them, if they're just trickling through their little boring 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 wins, and everyone else is just dropping points behind them, I want to see them deal with a bit of, and I'm not saying they haven't had that already, because we beat them fairly early on and they've still risen to be in 11 points above us. There's some kudos to that and well done and all that sort of thing. I just want to know, you lot, everyone bar Liverpool fans didn't want to see Liverpool run away with the league. You want to see
it go down to the wire.
Yeah,
of course.
And you want a bit of jeopardy.
City will push them. They'll have a go at some point. There'll be a moment in the season where City put together a long run of wins. Arsenal drop points, and all of a sudden you'll go, Arsenal looking over their shoulders now. That is inevitable. That's going to happen. I just think Arsenal are too strong. And I think even with injuries, they look too strong. You look at the Tottenham game, Gabriel, their best player this season, is out, and Nketiah comes in and...
Doesn't look like much changed.
They're
well drilled.
They had one shot, I think, all game, and it was from the halfway line.
Anyway, fuck those knobheads.
Move on.
Just really quickly, take the doom and gloom out of it. Take the almost be really biased, because let's put some positivity into. Yeah. I don't want you to with United, and you won't want me to with Liverpool. What would be your dream finish from this point now?
From this point, I think
it doesn't even have to be necessarily realistic. To a degree, it needs to be.
I don't think dropping points is the problem this week. Dropping points to Everton isn't the problem. The problem is the momentum. And as soon as you build up momentum and get gifted a game against 10 men, to let that momentum go, that's deeper than losing 3 points.
Yeah, and it's a mentality thing. And okay, we can't beat 10 men at home.
Bruno said it before the game. I said to you, something that worried me before the game is Bruno's interview. And it wasn't a headline, and it wasn't something that maybe most people would pick up on, and maybe I read into it. But when Bruno's talking about, if we lose this game, it's going to go back to the same old story of Man United, something's wrong, we're in trouble, something needs to change. And for that to be in your head going into a game, half an hour before the game, that's not just him.
It's an issue.
That's happening.
He's the captain, so everyone else will be thinking about it.
We can't have a mentality like that and finish top 8. That's a mentality that ends up mid-table again.
Any hope at all of getting a Champions League spot for you?
Yeah, I think the way we've played throughout this season, it's not been fantastic, but it's been very solid. And there's been a lot of games where I've seen a lot of strength turning things around when maybe last season we wouldn't have. So I've seen progress there. I see a United team that will pick up points where we wouldn't have in the past. Is that enough to then push for a title? At this point, no, which I think is a bigger issue than people make out. Is it? It is.
All right.
It is. You can, mate. I will never sit here and watch Man United, especially if we're not spending money. Fair enough. If we're spending money and we're keeping up, and we're Man United, and we've got that infrastructure, we've got the level, the quality of players that are coming in, there is no excuse for a manager not to be challenged for a title. If we finish outside of the top 4, the manager should go. For me.
Okay. I don't think that's harsh. Do I think that's harsh?
We can't allow the standards to be
No.
there. The standards have to be there at Man United. If they're not finishing top 4, that is a crisis for Manchester United.
Do you not think that cycle just continues again there? You get rid of him. It's almost lose-lose. But if you get rid of him, you're back to square one. This new manager, whoever it may be, even if it's an Iraola or whatever that everyone seems to be desperate to get, which I think is a massive risk, although he's been brilliant.
Who's a better manager, Iraola or Ruben Amorim?
It's so hard.
They're in different leagues at the moment.
Right.
Right?
What, Iraola above? Yeah, I get that, but there's this thing with managers where they're in charge of these teams that are really comfortable. You cannot lose at Bournemouth because they don't expect anything. You put that man in the pressure of that Man United job, how does he do?
Yeah,
you don't
right.
know. You know, it's so comfortable to be a Bournemouth manager. You finished in top 7, top 8. Their fans are over the moon. You finished 16th, no one's surprised. Yes, a bad season, but they're not spending hundreds of millions of pounds. I've seen loads of Liverpool fans with the whole slot out. By the way, really quick thing on this. I don't understand. I've questioned it. Is he the right manager? In my own head, I'll question it. I can't bring myself to say it because I don't think we should. I don't think it solves anything. I don't think there's any managers out there that would replace him. People call him for Klopp. Brilliant fairy tale. That guy left a legend. And in his words, and you can see with how much healthier he looks now, that he was struggling with the pressures of all that. How long are you going to get out of him? What have you, as an individual, being so vocal and saying slot out with your chest, what have you got to gain as the individual?
It's one thing to think it, it's another thing to say it. When I talk about Amorim out, it's like, I think United fans have got more than justification to suggest that Amorim should not be in a job. I'm not going to call for it.
I just don't.
It doesn't benefit the club. It doesn't benefit his situation. What I will say at the end of the season is, does a manager deserve to be in that position at the end of the season?
And going into next, yeah.
No. And I think there was justification for him to not be in charge this season.
The only thing that you stand to gain for being so hell-bent on wanting your manager out is the ability to say, I told you so, when he leaves. Because if Slot turns this around, which I have faith that he can do, in my opinion, we have got too many good players and too much of a good vibe and setup. All right, the vibe might not be great now, but the fan to player relationship is brilliant. The manager to fan relationship prior to these last sort of 10 games was unbelievable. He was being put on the poster with Bob Paisley, Bill Shankly, Jurgen Klopp, Rafa Benitez. You know, how do you go from that to this, to be so vocal about wanting him out of the club? I understand. Graham Souness was having a Barney with Martin Keown. Martin Keown was trying to pin it all on Slot. I get that. We've got players on £350,000 a week. If they can't work out during a game how to break down a defence, a Nottingham Forest defence, they can't work out how to do that, and they just keep doing the same thing, even if it is Slot that's told them it. There are 11 players on that pitch week in, week out, that should be taking responsibility and taking a game by the scruff of their neck and getting themselves through it, even if it's a draw, even if you lose but you've battled hard. Yes, he is to blame, and yes, you give him the praise when it happens and it goes well. He also needs the criticism. But to be so adamant that you want him out of the club and not giving him any time, because 6 or 7 games these days can be a month.
Yeah, it goes by very quickly, and I think you can't shift from thinking he's the second coming to wanting him out of your club. What I'll say, it popped into my head when we were talking about, would I push for a manager out? Yes, and I can understand, because there was a time with Erik ten Hag where I thought our voices as United fans will put pressure on that board to get rid of him. And that is for the best of the club. Erik ten Hag had to go.
He needed to go, though.
Yeah. But I don't think the United board would have taken that decision. You've got to bear in mind, those sackings cost the club millions. They won't take that unless the fans really put pressure on them. So you do stand to benefit by saying that. And if you really feel like that man who's in charge of your club is to the detriment of your club, then calling for his head is the right thing to do. I'm not at that point with Amorim. I would not be at that point if I was Liverpool. Oh my God! I mean, you just won a league. To put that into my head, us winning a league. I mean, I can't even think about it. It's been so long. I heard something from Gary Neville at the weekend. He was talking about Liverpool, and he was talking about the players, and he said some really good points actually. And I actually thought to myself when I was listening to him, it wouldn't be something that you should do. But I thought Slot should take this clip from Gary Neville and play it to the players if it wasn't an ex-United player, because this is a man who's won 8 league titles, whatever it was, 13 league titles, God knows. He had great advice. He was telling players, go back home and focus on yourself.
Do the basics for you.
And think about how you turn this around for you. Every individual has to go back and look at themselves. Maybe they go home, they spend a little bit less time with the kids. They put them to bed earlier. They train a little bit better. They maybe don't have the Chinese at the weekend. They change these little things because these are the incremental details that lead to you being at that level compared to that. And in the Premier League, that intensity, that drop off 1% is what can take you from a Premier League champion to 10th, 11th, 12th in the Premier League. I thought if I was Slot, those are the changes I'd make. I'd tell every single player, go home. I want you back in training tomorrow with a list. Here's your list. Tell me what you're going to do differently, what you could have done differently at the weekend, how you're going to train going forward, what differences, what changes are you making to become Premier League champions this season? Because regardless of where you are in the table, it's still early enough to be a Premier League champion
100%.
At 18 points. That's what I'd be doing. If Slot's going about this like... maybe I should play this player instead of this player. That's the wrong approach. I
would be both disgusted and shocked if there wasn't a emergency style, for use of a better phrase, an emergency meeting on Sunday.
An emergency meeting happens when there's a crisis.
Which is why I said for use of a better phrase. Okay, that style of right, let's get everyone together.
Yeah.
I can't have it as a crisis because we won 5, 6, 7 games on the bounce to start with. Something's obviously not worked for the last couple of months, but there's been enough there through last season and the start of this season to suggest that at some point it's going to come out. I fully take on your point about it's not just been 12 games because we've had Carabao Cups, we've had Champions League games. I get that. But because of the amount of games, there is a lot of tinkering and rotation and things like that. Not an excuse when you spent £400-500 million. But even 16, 17 games together is no amount when you're talking about bringing in 2 players from Bundesliga, someone to replace arguably the best or the most consistent left back the Premier League's had in the last 10 years. We've lost a gaping hole, and I don't want to get into that, but a gaping hole in creativity from right back. I think, and this isn't at you or whatever, this is purely me getting back to the whole Slot out thing. Give him time to sort it out.
I agree.
I
wouldn't be calling for his head.
I cannot believe it.
We're still at a point in the season, early enough in the season, that Liverpool and Man United could mathematically finish on 96 points. There's 26 games left.
And if you can't think like that, both as a fan and as a player, then what is the point?
The thing that worries me is ambition. And with United, it's how many of these players think in their head, I should be winning the title, and how many think, I'm just playing for my place at the club. I'm just trying to stay in there. I'm trying to stay alive.
Get your wage. Yeah.
It's like sometimes when you go through it in life, you are just on survival mode. You know, everyone will feel it. You go through a tough period in life and you are just on survival mode. You're not focused on winning. You're just trying to survive. Something happens at home, death of a relative, you're going through something personally. When that happens, you are doing the basics. You're not overperforming. It's like you go to work, and I think about it because I used to work in sales. My performance is measured by numbers in the same way a footballer is in a sense. And I think when I was at my best, my life at home was the best. So that's why these players need to have a look at themselves at home and then come into it. You're also at your best when you believe that you can achieve and be the best. I don't know how many United players in that squad think that they're capable of winning the Premier League. I'd probably say there's one or two.
I would agree.
And that's why we won't win the Premier League at this point.
And I think that, for me, is a really poignant subject and point, is that I think I do genuinely take a biased head out of it and stop being glass half full and all that sort of stuff. I do believe that our players think that, because they'd have no reason to.
They've got evidence for it.
Right. And so, again, where that difference for me with a United or a Tottenham or a Bournemouth and these other teams that are in and around Newcastles and things that have got projects going on, I just cannot see a situation where we don't come out of this in a positive way. Whether that's too late, I don't know, but I really want to say, I really want to be one of those guys that is able to moan about it, and I'm gutted that my wife walked into the room, looked at the score, she left me alone for 3 hours.
It's not enough, is it?
It's not enough.
You need longer.
But she knows, and it affects me. I don't like saying, oh yeah, we're absolutely.
I'm not one of those. It's like, I'm all down in the dumps. I'm not saying it for effect, and the same as you will. It just ruins your week.
Yeah. But the difference, once again, is that I've got Wednesday night to look forward to, and I do, and I can't help it. I'm not.
I'm the same.
I'm not the doom and gloom. I'm looking at Wednesday now, going. He might tinker. He might tinker a little bit. Drop a few players. I'm excited.
You're going to the game?
I'm not on Wednesday now.
Is Andy Oppleton going to the game?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if he's replied. I'm not going. No, there was a dad and lad that have been asking me for a long time for tickets, and this sort of November, December is so busy that shoot me. But PSV for me isn't as important as going to. No,
if you go to
a couple of away games and things,
you can't be.
I'd like to be there, and I'd like to. If we'd have been winning consistently, that PSV game's one of those games where it's like midweek, a couple of hours drive, get back at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. It wouldn't be one I'm interested in now. I'd be really interested in it. I want to see how the COP react. I want to see what the lineup is, how we deal with it. I'm excited again. Whereas you've got to now go a week.
That's the worst thing.
It's horrible.
You go a whole week. It's like I've spent all week and the weekend looking forward to that game. That Vince messaged me before the game saying I'm excited. I said I'm not. I feel not anxiety, apprehension. I feel like, because I know the gravity of it on my mood for the next week. Something I'm trying to focus on is not allowing it to get to me as much. I think why
it's so hard.
It's not the lows that gets me. It's not the loss. It's the looking forward to seeing something and looking forward to seeing your players progress to a certain level. It's like, I love watching the numbers go up. And Burmo's on 5 goals. Now he's on 6. Mount's got his first goal. Ahmad's now on 3. It's like, that is the thing that I love seeing. When you get beat 1-0 at home to 10 men, all of that's gone.
This episode could have been so different in a million other ways. I said to you when I left your house yesterday after watching United Spurs, or whatever day it was.
Spurs.
Arsenal. Did I say that?
United Spurs.
Oh, see, this is what we're supposed to do. I've got no brain. I left here, I went downstairs, and I said, there's going to be fireworks tomorrow if you get beat. And I watched it, and I want to go at you. I want to rip your head off because of how smarmy you've been. Put your hands up if your team do this. But, we're a Liverpool. We recorded another podcast. I'm just looking in the bottom half here. We're in Liverpool here. Right? I wanted to rip your head off if you lost. But when we started speaking and I got reminded of how shit we were, I feel like we just need to.
It's not that. It's that you know how I feel.
Yeah.
And also, I think you're going to have a lot more sympathy for me because you know how hard it must be for 12 years to have a shit team to support.
No, I won't have it. I won't have it because you had your entire childhood was league after league after league.
Yeah, you take it for granted, but also you're young enough that it doesn't register the same way as it did.
No, listen, I've had it the best way round possible.
Yeah,
I've fallen into a situation, not fallen into because I've worked to get those credits, but I've ended up in a situation where I've got adult money, adult time. I've got a ticket for every away game. I'm on the European away ladder, every Premier League home game, and we've been winning trophies.
And you've gone watch your teams in finals, win trophies, and win a Premier League. I cannot feel sorry for you at any point this season.
And I get that, and that's probably why you want to
lose.
Yeah.
I will go in, and it's because 1, I don't feel any sympathy for you. 2, and the most important 2, I have had so much abuse from people who aren't United fans about United for the amount of time where it's acceptable to abuse another human being because I'm not a child at that point. I'm now an adult, so you can say whatever you want to me. I have had that non-stop. And I can take it. It's fine. But I want to be able to give it back when it happens, which is why I was so happy this season that the season was shaping where we look like, okay, we're okay, you're awful, and we're on the same fucking points.
And that's where, again...
And we lose after you get beat 3-0 at home to Forest. I can't have anything nice, mate. Why can't I have anything nice?
When you go at me in our WhatsApp group, I could probably gut, slice, and kill many men. When you go at me, and I say, well, yeah, I'm fine, you haven't even annoyed me, my blood could be coming out of my ears in spurts.
Just put it into context what I actually do, because it's
not a lot.
All I got to do is put a little comment in, hands up if your team won this weekend.
Or I can't even remember, because my mind, you just see my head rolling across the floor. My wife will go, what's the matter with you? I'm like Muttley. When I'm with you, I feel calm because I can see the pain in your eyes as well. And it's almost like a common sympathy. It
comes from pain.
It's almost like a common sympathy.
It's the same with anything. You see a bully on the street. The reason why they're bullying someone is because they're hurt in the past. I'm hurt. That's why I've got to come at you. I'm hurt.
Right. First of all, I'm sorry to everyone that's had to listen to us moan. We do like to put a
therapy session.
We do like to put a bit of humour into it, and we'll go and cry ourselves to sleep tonight. You've got Palace away. We're both in the capital on the weekend. We've got West Ham away. I think your game is tougher.
I'll take a point. You should be looking at 3.
I'll be absolutely furious if we don't.
Anything less than 3. I'm shocked that you lost to Forest, and if you then go and don't get 3 points against West Ham.
And this is how fickle and mad it is that if we lose to West Ham, that momentum shift of me being like...
all of a sudden Slot is out.
Because that's unforgivable.
Yeah.
That Forest loss should be the catalyst, the rocket up their ass. PSV, I think I said on the other podcast, but PSV is almost like a free hit. We're going to qualify, touch wood, we're going to qualify, whether that's to the round of 16 straight or we've got to play other qualifiers or whatever. We're going to qualify for the next round of the Champions League. You can afford to lose to PSV. Won't be nice, won't be good, but if you, like we did when we lost to Palace in the Cup, if you then go and win the game on the Saturday, everyone forgets it.
The most important 3 points there is the West Ham game, not PSV.
My worry, and this is a subject for another podcast because we've been talking for an hour, but I worry that Arne Slot, having now won the Premier League, has only got his eyes on the Champions League. He said it. He said his main goal and focus is on winning the Champions League. That's great if you go and win it, but if you don't,
you finish 7th, 8th, 9th. Yeah.
So my worry is if he goes, it's this is why I'm excited but nervous for the lineups, because if we go strong, because we need to get that momentum building and things, and then we drop points against West Ham, then that's the wrong way round. I would sooner lose 15-0 to PSV than draw with West Ham.
You'll take a loss to PSV to win at West Ham. Yeah,
that for me is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
No,
I think a lot of Liverpool fans will feel the same. What's more important at the moment? That's the measure of a team. I think is your league form.
Of course,
you can do well in cups. Tottenham proved it last season. Won a trophy, managed
finished 16th or whatever.
Yeah, we finish every show with.
This will cheer everyone up.
A script read. It's really tough to make you laugh. You find it so. I mean, I got the pictures. Basically, we got to take pictures, show them to each other whilst we read the script as the outro to sign the show off. If he laughs, he has to start again. You could show me a picture of anything and I'd laugh. I was looking at the pictures, giggling away.
I
to
can
myself,
hear him in the other room,
thinking I would not be able to get through the first picture. And that's when I've just thought about the picture now that's coming up. Let's do it. Where's my phone?
Sorry, I wasn't being ignorant to everyone. I was looking up at the call to action.
All right, Brand. Take it.
No.
Take it away.
The thing is, you're managing to laugh. I'm still really upset about what we've just talked about. Right, once again, guys, thank you so much for listening.
I just made an instant headache.
For all the best bits, head over to TikTok where you'll find Alex's clips on Alex Goalposts, Instagram at Instagram at Alex Goalposts. Please listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That was ugly. Again, search for Alex Goalposts. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok and Instagram at Alex Goalposts. Oh, sorry, I've hit the mic. I am on TikTok at WasLFC for all things Liverpool. For all things Liverpool. Going to be going over everything. Oh, this is bad. Yeah, please follow me. Subscribe to our YouTube. Is that Adrian Charles? Subscribe to us right now here on YouTube, and liking the video is a massive help to us. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers this year. We'll be back this week, next Monday and Wednesday, and every Monday and Wednesday for the rest of the season. They've got worse. Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
We really appreciate you listening.
20 times the champions of it. And Bono's in and scores for Manchester United. On an Old Trafford hat-trick here, Mo Salah.